Hello there. My name is Barry Ruby, and I am very grateful for the fact that you are interested in and willing to spend some time looking at this pro forma and the course that it attaches itself to called Introduction to Commercial Real Estate. What we're doing right now is offering you this first video, which is intended to act as a guide for you in terms of how this pro forma works. This video is being made with the intention and the hope that you visit my website, which is cregroundupdevelopment.com, where you will be able to download a copy of an Excel copy of this small but potent workbook, along with the 4 videos that will go along with it. This first one is just intended to walk you through what the pro forma is all about and how to use it. In the second video, what we're going to do is go over the 2 elements that are based on creating the value of a multifamily or any commercial real estate asset for that matter. The first is net operating income, and then the capitalization of that income by using a cap rate that creates the value or the price of a given project. And we'll go over that in some detail in video 2. Video 3 will be used to complete the analysis that is conducted by this pro forma by looking at capital stack, net cash flow, and debt service coverage ratios, as well as looking up here in the cheat sheet that will give you an idea real quickly over whether the project that you're looking at has legs, whether it is financially feasible or not. So let's get going on just the purpose of this video, which is to walk you through how this pro forma works. One of the first things that I want to bring your attention to is that there are some hidden cells that, or rows, I should say, that will be unmasked to allow you to, if what you're doing is really doing a deep dive into the analysis of any commercial real estate asset, then you would fill out the cells that are in bold blue here throughout the pro forma. Anything that's in bold blue is a major variable, and anything that is in magenta is a variable that deals with being able to manipulate sensitivity. So for instance, if what you wanted to do was add 5 percentage points to the operating expenses, you can see here that those 5 points added creates a 35% OPEX, and it then creates these values of how many dollars more or less is the project taking in, and if you capitalize them, don't worry if you don't understand what that means yet, what the value, the capitalized value of this $71,000, for instance, would be. So again, everything in blue, major variables, everything in magenta, all meant to be able to play around with variations of what happens if, for instance, you varied the cap rate from 6% by half a point, so it now is 6.5% and 7% respectively. What happens when you do that? So those are that's the scoop on the variables, and what we're going to do is, for now, is we're going to make this hidden again, these rows, because we're not dealing with them at the moment. So what else should you be aware of in this tutorial about how the pro forma itself works? Well, one of the things that I've done is I have actually hard-coded a series of named cells. So if you click on the upper left corner of your worksheet, you will see that all of these are the named cells. What the purpose of naming these cells is that the pro forma itself, rather than offering you formulas, gives you the formulas in words, the way that the deal really works. So in other words, if I put my cursor on row C20, you can see that that is a name cell that's called net rental income. And up here, what you'll see is that instead of a formula that says add C18 to C19, what you're seeing is the way that you get to net rental income is adding gross potential income and the vacancies. And the vacancies is added because it's a negative number. Similarly, if, for instance, you came down here and you said, so how does value work? Again, you look up here and you see that the name cell that you're on is called purchase price. And over here, the purchase price is a calculation that involves taking the net operating income, which is right here, and dividing it by the acquisition cap rate, which is right here in assumed to be 6%. So dividing net operating income by the acquisition cap rate creates a value of $16.7 million. Without getting into how cap rates and net operating income actually work in some detailed fashion, we're going to cover that in the second video, video number 2. But again, just to demonstrate, if, for instance, you changed 6% to 5%, then the purchase price of that property went up to $20 million from $16.7 million. So all the way through this pro forma, what's happening is there are name cells that will give you the formula in words and the way that it actually functions. So if, for instance, capitalized value of a property is the equity in a project is the capitalized value plus, because the loan is a negative, the loan to cost. So hopefully you get a copy of this pro forma and all of the videos, all 4 videos that'll teach you not only how to work with the pro forma, but the meanings of all of these different things like terminology and functions such as debt service coverage ratios and cap rates. The entire suite of videos in the pro forma is meant to teach you all of that and to do it as painlessly and quickly as possible. So what's left here is I want to share with you that on the cover sheet, what happens when you populate the information that's up above that has to do with a specific project and so forth, that what comes down here is a little report that gets published for you, which shows the base case, which is the deal that you want to say freeze the frame, and that's the deal we're going with, that you kind of either want to run with or publish. It looks at the various major performance factors associated with the data that you created up above. Last couple of pieces to visit with you on, and that is here, again, I mentioned it earlier, this is kind of a cheat sheet where the reason that you do a pro forma in the first place, is to try and figure out what kind of performance is happening. And so what this is just kind of a recitation of the major metrics that typically go into figuring out how a commercial real estate asset actually performs. These are the named metrics, and these are the metrics themselves. And we will get into later in some of the following videos what all of that means. So last piece to show you, or a couple of pieces in this video number 1. What I've done is allowed for an analysis where you can, if things are looking promising, that you can actually get into analyzing things like the unit mix and the square footage and rents and the percentage mix. These 2 pro forma recaps here are exactly the same thing with one difference, and that is oftentimes if what you're doing is theorizing about a project, what you're going to want to do is arrange your unit mix by percentages. So if you have 100 units to build, in this case, it's 20, 50, 30 for 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, for instance. If you're underwriting a project that is in existence, more often than not, what's going to be offered to you is, rather than you having to try and figure out how many units there are, the seller's offering memorandum will tell you that there are these number of units. So you would use the bottom calculator where the unit numbers are actually given to you. When they're not, you'd use the top one to establish unit mix. Last piece is, again, if you're getting really serious about digging into something as crucial as operating expenses, you're going to want to take the data that is offered to you by the seller and or the seller's broker and populate it and yourself in doing a detailed analysis like this, where again, everything that's in bold blue, everywhere, anywhere in this pro forma is a variable which is meant for you to fill out. And so, you know, if for instance this costs $10,000, then it not only adds it to variable expenses, but it adds it to the total, and it also reports to you what expenses as a percentage against something called the effective gross income, what that percentage is as you populate this thing. And you can see here what this number in this column is the 30% that is being shown in this pro forma right here, this cell right here. So if we change this to 31%, come back over here, that's what it's reporting on the detailed worksheet that we've arranged for you. So that's about it. And again, hope you do go on with getting yourself a copy of this pro forma, and then following the complimentary videos videos 2, 3, and 4 that will follow this. Video 2, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to go into net operating income and value. Video 3, we're going to go into the rest of these areas. And then video 4, I think you're going to really like, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this prototype pro forma and we're going to go find a deal that's for sale somewhere online and underwrite it together and see whether it's a good deal or a bad deal, or if it's a bad deal, what we need to do to make it a good deal. So I want to thank you for watching this, and we will catch you hopefully in video number 2.